Hello, 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 hello. Wherever you happen to be on this scintillating planet called Earth, I hope you are having a delightful day, even night where you're located. Here today on my 3D channel using a software called Blender, I'm going to be talking about the math node. And in that math node family, I'm going to be talking about the compare option. So let's begin our journey, people. All right, I got this information directly off of the Blender Manual Math Node website. Let's go. Let's see what compare. We'd have to on compare to compare outputs of 1. So if it's 1, remember it's white. If the difference between the two input values is less than or equal to epsilon, so I'm going to read it again. Outputs 1 if the difference between the two inputs is less than epsilon. So that's the important thing. It has to be less than epsilon. And let me do something else too, if I can. I want to see if I can choose my tool. Annotate. I'm going to give it the color yellow. I get tired of using that blue all the time. Okay, so it's yellow. All right, so we have value A, that's input 1, plus B is less than epsilon. Now, I'm not going to put no numbers in here because I don't want to go through all the math stuff. Now, if it's less than epsilon, it is white. The value is less than epsilon. Oops. White. If it's, wait a minute. If it's an epsilon. If it's greater than epsilon, and I'll call it W, it will be black. So if it's less than, it's white. If it's greater than, it's black. Now, in the real world, the world that we live in, compare can only have two values. It's either true, which on the computer for Blender is equal to 1, or it can be false. That's what it is in the real world. I compare two things. It's either similar. Yeah, compare. It's either similar or they not. It's equal to, so in the computer world, that's equal to 0. That's equal to, if it's 1, it's white. If it's 0, it's black. But when we're on the computer, it's different. I'm just going to make this. Here's my shape here. And here's the other one. And I'm only going in the horizontal direction. I'm not going to worry about vertical. If I compare, if it's less than, all of this is black. In this little area where it's true, it's white. Then it comes back to black. This whole section right here is black. All of this. And I'm going from left to right. That's how I usually go on the computer, from left to right. So from starting from my left, this area is black. It comes to a little certain part. It's true. It's white. Then it goes back to being black. then it comes back to another white, a little area, then it comes back to being black. So we got an idea how it should look, an idea. Okay, so now we're in my shader node. We got an idea what compare is. And let me go to my setup. I'll open, circle, because I set up already. Don't save. This is what I want. But before I go over anything over there, I want to turn some of this stuff off and slowly explain my simple setup. And you see I got the usual players. BSDF right here. And my material output right here. And my favorite nodes I love to use. Always touch coordinate, and I like to use the mapping node so I can move stuff around. But I'm going to explain this one at a time. I got my length node. I'm going to turn that on, M. The length node is good because it's basically giving me a circle or a length of a line. But you know, since it's 3D, the line go all the way around, almost like in polar coordinates. It go by my whole shape. When it go around, it's going to make a circle. As we see over here to my right, it's a gradient-like circle. So that what length is. And I heard from other people that I listened to, gradient, I could use the equation x squared. I could say to make a circle, x squared plus y squared equals my unit circle 1. I could do that too, but I heard that this take up more computer time, and that makes sense because x squared is one node, the plus is the second node, and the y squared, that's another node. So if I type in this equation, I'm using 3 nodes. And you know, in real life, the more you have, the more energy is being consumed. So to make it go faster, let's use length. So we got that out the way. I got my length right there. Next, I got my separate XYZ. If I turn that on, theoretically, it shouldn't be no much change. Not much change. Then last but least, I got my less than node. I use less than to make sharp contrast between my my figure. Now I'm gonna come over here to my shape. When I use the less than node, my circle, I'm gonna go right to the perimeter right here. Where it should be somewhere in here. My circle should be right there somewhere. So now I'm gonna turn this node on. Yeah, and you see, it matched up to my prediction. Alright, so that's it. Now we can use a compare node. To use a compare node, it's first best to go to math. I'm going to go to add, go to converter, and put in math. Zap. Then I'm going to put it in compare. Compare right here. Then I'm going to drop it in. Nothing might not happen yet. It's not the way I want. So, hey, let me see what I can do. I'll make it go down. Let me choose this delta value, the epsilon value. Oh, brother. See? So I guess when you first do it, you don't like it's doing much. But it is working. But I want to use it to cut out part of my shape. And I'm going to treat this 0.4. So you got to play around with it until you get what you want. Sorry about that, people. I got to play around until I get what... Oh, there it is. Right there. See? There it is. You see that right there? So it did cut my shape. Now, so it don't mess up any, I can come over here to my favorite mapping, X to scale, and scale it some. Scale. You see how it's scaling? I just scale it some more. So I don't feel like messing around for that much anymore. So there, it's working. That's how it is. And this is a powerful tool. When we get better, because so many times, as you saw in the very beginning, let me turn this back off. Let me turn my compare off. Most of the time, when we get a shape, It's filled and solid. The compare helps to make it it takes the center part out of it. Then I can go over here to less than, switch it to greater than, and put it back to the way I had it. There. So that's one of its features. So if you don't want to have that whole solid shape in there, you can cut some of it out with the compare. And then you just can mess around with the epsilon value, like I'm doing now. You see, to make it either a small cutout or large. And if I go up into the value, it'll change the size of my shape, as you see right here. But then instead of worrying about the size, I just like to go over here and mess with mapping. I don't like to aggravate it any more than I have to. I go right to mapping. But now I'm going to try something else. I want to try to move my compare to right here. I want to move it there and see what happens. You know, a lot of times when we're messing with these nodes, wherever you put it can change it a whole lot. So let me hit Alt X, just drag it out. Oh, I got to put it up on here. Alt X, drag it out. Okay, it's being stubborn. There. I'm going to drop it here and see what happens. See? A whole different effect. Completely different. That's the biggest downside with the nodes. It depends on when you put it at. And when I moved it out of there, it's not working the way I want it. You probably could get it around, you know, because you remember when I first started this, I had to tweak it a whole lot. For a bunch of tweaking, it may work. You have to tweak it a lot. You know, it seems like it's very weak here. Because when I change it, the size is not even changing. So I'm going to say right here, it may be completely ineffective. All it's doing is blinking it off and on. So I better put it back to where I had it right before that greater than sign. So let me click on it, hit Alt X, drag it out, and put it back. And you know, since I was messing around with it, my values changed. There it is again though. I hit epsilon to choose how much I want to cut out of it. And you know, if you want to cut out a little bit, I'm going to put it on 0.05. You have to type it in yourself like that. See, if you just want to cut a little tiny bit out, you have to choose it. 0.01. You see? So, we see that it's powerful. Very powerful. You have to be the artist. Use it the way you want. Like I like to say in conclusion to my new beginning people, don't stop. I'll give you an example. I've been with Blender for 2.76, but I've only been dealing with these shader nodes. I'm not really using the shaders much, but I better say these nodes in the shader section for 1 year. So I was new again. I'm used to Blender 2.76, but when I came to shader, it basically seemed like I was starting all over again. And you've seen in this 1 year period I've gotten far. I would not have been able to do this any last year. So to the new people like me, keep growing. Don't stop growing. Don't get frustrated, because you know I could have gotten frustrated with these nodes, because nodes requires a lot of effort to understand this math part of it. The math part is what's really the killer. So keep growing, don't stop. The next time in the family, 3D family, peace.